guys, and welcome back to Cheap and Green. It's spring all of a sudden, or actually more like summer. It's like 30 degrees and everything has leapt up from dormancy, and we are racing to try and get the gardens under control. And I wanted to show you what's going on so far. So we have been potting up things. This year we decided we would try and use seeds, and they're just starting to come up now. And we are trying some tomato plants that we actually got from the dollar store, and we'll see if they work. I mean, they're looking a little sick now because we just transplanted them this morning, but maybe they'll survive, and in which case they were really inexpensive. I got this watering can, I think it was at Giant Tiger for $1 or $2. And unfortunately, I left it out over the winter. So, hi Marshall. It sprung a leak. So rather than just throw it out, I thought that it would look really cute with a geranium. This basil also came from the dollar store, and my daughter's been growing it on her windowsill. Hopefully it will do okay. So I've been starting the weeding, and it's just too overwhelming a task to try and weed all of the gardens in one day. So what I've been actually doing is using the timer on my phone and setting it for 20 minutes or half an hour, and just doing as much as I can do in that time. And that's been working really well. I don't get overtired, things are getting done, I can see progress. And I'll mulch as I go so that the weeds don't come back before I finish, weeding the whole thing. And will also help with watering, because if I water and then I put the mulch on top, we won't get the evaporation. So it's definitely a way to save water. The rhubarb plants are going gangbusters, and actually I can harvest this at any time. And you can cut it up and freeze it, or you can cook it in, add it to smoothies or apple crisp, anything. It's really versatile. Because we have avoided a late frost, I finally have magnolia blossoms. This magnolia is very tender, and honestly it is too cold here for this particular species of magnolia. But I just love it so much that I'm risking it, and it paid off this year. I treated myself to a blueberry bush this year. It was only $8, and I thought, wow, what a good deal if it actually survives and produces blueberries. Of course, we won't get any this year, but possibly next year it'll do really well. And I just put it right in the middle of my flower garden. I'm not really fussy about having separate vegetables. I'm fine with mixing them in. So I had room, so it went there. The big addition to the backyard this year is this amazing raised vegetable bed. The soil here is terrible. It's very hard clay, and we just decided that it would be so much easier to just put a raised bed, easier on our backs, and just easier in terms of propagating the veg. So we got seeds, we've got a couple of plants. We put the lettuces in because they were really inexpensive, but the rest were seeds, and we're going to try that out to see if we can get a good harvest just based on sowing the seeds directly into the soil outside. Aside from the soil problem that we have, a raised bed like this is a lot easier on your back. So if you have back problems, or if you have a family member that has mobility issues, a raised bed is actually a really good idea. One thing, this is cedar. I would not recommend using pressure-treated lumber for anything to do with food. Anything that you're going to ingest, you don't want it near pressure-treated lumber. And that would go the same for used pallets. If you don't know exactly what's stored on the pallets, you could be contaminating your food. So try and use really clean cedar, and it's going to last a really long time. This should last at least 10 years. One of the ways that we kept costs down on this bed, because cedar is not cheap, is by using standard lengths. This is 8 by 4. Lumber comes in 8-foot lengths, and then we just cut them in half for the 4 feet. So there's no waste in this whatsoever. It won't harm us in any way, and it looks really great. If you're gardening with children and maybe they're unfamiliar with gardening, radishes are a really, really good idea. They germinate very quickly and they're super hard to kill. And within, say, 7 days, you can go from seed to plant. So you can keep the excitement going. Other plants take a really long time, like the carrots are still waiting and it's been 10 days. But radishes are a great idea. This garden always looks amazing in spring, and obviously it needs a bit of tidying up, but it just looks really, really good. We've got the lilacs and the bleeding hearts. The ferns are all up. Pretty sweet. One of my casualties over the winter was one of my clematis that I've been growing up this ladder has not made it. On one side we have happy clematis, on the other side nothing at all. So when I was at the garden center, I grabbed a morning glory plant. Normally I would grow morning glories from seed, but this was exactly what I wanted, and I thought it would be nice to get a jump start on them. Thanks for joining me for Cheap and Green in my beautiful garden on this beautiful long weekend. I hope to see you next time. Please remember to like and subscribe.